Hello, this is Jingshu Wang Weiyao. Our presentation is to talk about the book project Cedric Price Works from 1958 to 2003, a forward-minded retrospective, which is written by Samantha Hardingham. And we will mainly discuss the way in which Samantha Hardingham presents the British architect Cedric Price. So firstly, let's take a look at the author. Samantha Hardingham is a British architecture author and researcher. She studied at the Architectural Association from 1987 to 1993 and worked as Senior Research Fellow at the University of Westminster from 2003 to 2008. She has been a studio tutor at the Architectural Association since 2006. 3 years later, Hardingham had the opportunity to be visiting scholar at the Canadian Centre for Architecture in Montreal, where she undertook further research on the work of Cedric Price. There are 3 previous book projects by Hardingham, and 2 of them deal with Cedric Price's work. Cedric Price is an English architect as well as an influential teacher and writer on architecture, and he is considered as one of the most challenging and visionary figures in the field of architecture in Britain during the late 20th century. Throughout his career, Price stressed the need for flexibility in architecture design in view of the unpredictability of possible future uses, and persistently argued for and produced novel designs intended to evoke delight and pleasure in users and to enable people to think the unthinkable. The book project is supported by Grantham Foundation. Through years of preparation, it will soon come out, published by the Architectural Association in conjunction with the Canadian Centre for Architecture. The book brings an overall collection of Cedric Price projects, articles, and lectures all together for the first time. The book has 2 volumes. The first one focuses on Price projects, while the second compiles his writings and talks. Arranged in chronological order, the content is set in immediate post-war period of late 20th century England. The book tries to illuminate how cultural, social, and political factors conditioned Cedric Price's work from the outset, and then subsequently shaped its development as CP's practice changed throughout the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. In the lecture, Hardingham shows a typical layout of project page in the book. All material is drawn directly from the original work by Cedric Price. Besides full project description, the author also selects a series of unpublished illustrations for this book, from conceptual sketches to presentation drawings and related artifacts. From the abstract that we can find on Grantham Foundation and AA Bookshop website, the books aim to assert the significance of Price ideas in the context of 20th century architecture activity, and to present the magnificence of Price as thinker, philosopher, and artist, a thoroughly modern traditionalist. After getting some knowledge of what the book project is about and its writing mode as well, we come up with our argument. In terms of content, the book is quite comprehensive since it includes complete works of Cedric Price. The author says in her lecture that in the book, she intends to be just a recorder of CP's works and to present the legacy lying in his projects and thinking beyond any individual bias, which means to avoid subjective speculating. However, we would like to argue that the way of only recording projects of CP without including others' diverse interpretation might not be the best. The single, calm narrative perspective of the author or recorder could be narrow, which does not contribute much to achieving the ambition of the book as a complete work model, which is expected to fully convey the glorious intellectual legacy left by CP. In other words, it might be better to involve different perspectives to bring a broader conversation in which a more magnificent, multifarious, vivid Cedric Price could be presented to the audience. In terms of the 2-volume organization with projects totally separate from writings and talks, we think that although it makes the classification more clear, yet it might weaken the relationship between CP's projects and his design ideas behind, compared with the way to properly combine them in each volume.
The content of Cedric's retrospective isn't rich enough. The material about Cedric project and architecture theory is so extensive. The memory bank, exhibition of dynamic of time, and publication from magazine volume all provide more exhaustive and integrated information about Cedric's work. First is the Cedric's memory bank. Memory bank provides a video consisting many interviews with people in Cedric's network, and it aims to address the gap in the available history and to understand more of the conditions in which Cedric's idea was shaped. For example, Peter Mary is one person retrospects Cedric in memory bank. He is an architecture writer who made a career in architectural communication and service design, and also a chairman of New London Architecture, the Center for London Built Environment, and president of Worcester. He is a keen cyclist and championer of cycling issues and concerned about how to solve cycling issues in future city design. Like he thinks the bicycle will replace the car to be the main transportation in future city, and the use of bicycle will also change the control of city life. Also, he is a prolific author. His work includes the saga of Sydney Opera House, a passion to build, and architecture and commerce. He built relationship with Cedric when he worked with him as editor of AD magazine. They comment a lot of projects together. He thinks Cedric has a smart thinking of city. This closely linked to his own theory. He highlights that Cedric thinks you have to go back to the first principle about why you are doing things. Time would have changed. People's own thinking would have changed. You have to evaluate things in the context of time that is elapsed. And also, Tismi is another one talking in memory bank. He is commonly associated with deconstructivism. When Tismi was a student in ETH in Zug, he was very interested in inviting Cedric to come to give a lecture, but his professor rejected Tismi's requirement because they said this is not architecture. After a couple of years, he eventually got a chance to invite Cedric in Avenue. Meanwhile, Tismi went to see Cedric several times in London, and Cedric provided a work opportunity for Tismi. Tismi's first notable project was Park Lovelet, a competition project he owned in 1983. Since the 1960s, Tismi has argued that there is no fixed relationship between architecture form and the event that takes place within it. Architecture's role is not to impress and extend social structure, but to function as a tool for questioning that structure and revising it. Tismi's critical understanding of architecture remains at the core of his practice today. By arguing the theory there is no space without event, he designs conditions for a reinvention of living, rather than repeating established aesthetic or symbolic conditions of design. Tismi found Cedric is an profound introspective person, constantly work on the tightrope. When he would give lecture now, the model of lecturing is using individual card which has statement and shifting the card in any possible order, and then try to develop an argument of random appearance of each of those questions or recommends is not easy thing to do. It requires the agility of mind. In the memory bank, different people retrospect Cedric based on their own comprehensive, which also combine their own idea about the specific architectural viewpoint. In this way, they not only memory Cedric but also enrich his idea. The other form is the exhibition of Cedric, the dynamic of time. In this exhibition, Samantha selects project according to the specific theme of exhibition, also combined with physical model of Cedric's project. Physical model give people a real appearance of space. Diagram and picture are easy to present concepts and designer thinking. In that, physical model combined with diagram and picture can show a more integrated and comprehensive project. The last one is a publication from magazine volume. Volume is an independent quarterly magazine that sets the agenda for architecture and design. It combines articles about several different parts of life and architecture theory, written by different people. The first one is retrospective of Cedric full life, written with chronological order by Samantha Handham. She talks about Cedric's appearance and figure, family and childhood years, educational background, and also selects project of Cedric. Then, the editor also quotes retrospective writing by different people to show Cedric in different perspectives. Retrospective with chronological order can fix the project and theory with history background. Comments from different authors will present different parts of subject view towards the protagonist. It means that subjective plus subjective equals objective. In that, retrospective combined with the comments from other people, showing a more integrated and comprehensive person. And also within the organization of material in Cedric's retrospective hasn't shown Cedric's life and academic style. There are some good representative forms that can characteristically show architecture ideas. Even though this retrospective is written after Cedric died, but most of other books and portfolio are written by that architect, or the architect at least participate in the combine of the book. Corbusier's portfolio is arranged in chronological order, which is a comprehensive and logical way to depict a famous architect's work and life. The book not only contains the projects and construction documents, but also the behind story and the complicated process of which generating an idea. The book tries to find an easy way to communicate their idea with the public, and they represent them by using cartoon comics in the book Yes is More. It shows each process of book construction and core concept in mimic way. Isegame's diagrams usually have no text or comments around which allow reader to understand the image and drawing pure visually. He puts more emphasis on presenting the atmosphere between architecture and landscape, the ambiguous boundary of inside out, and the conceptualized line work which are similar with the fairy tale. A Moma's compendium of 20 years of Oma's project arranged in order of size. This will give an insight into the restless, imaginative thinking of the office through an era when architecture began a mere bystander to the explosion of market economic and globalization. With specific organization form of a book, we can transfer an atmosphere of projects or personal feature of the designer, which is very important for architects.
Based upon research on several other relevant projects presenting Cedric Price in diverse forms and comparison with other book projects dealing with collecting works of architects, we would like to say that this book project could take advantage of a more comprehensive writing and presenting mode, in which materials and perspectives of more diversity could be involved to bring a broader conversation, through which a more magnificent, multifarious, vivid Cedric Price could be presented to the audience.